Hey guys, it's your girl Sidnee Michelle here. Welcome to another episode of Inside the Studio. I had the ultimate pleasure of sitting down with the most iconic supermodel of all time, Miss Beverly Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, absolutely.
We talked about Oprah, you talked about Essence. Similar to Black Enterprise, I feel like all these things are staples within our culture.
Yes.
I know you are a staple within our culture, your iconic career, people like Oprah, people like Sheryl Lee Ralph, all people included in this documentary, which I just love to see. But tell me, my definition of a staple is someone or something that transcends through generations. What would be your definition of a staple? Because you are, just so you know, you are in my household and many households across the United States, especially within Black women. You are like the number one and you are a staple within our culture. You're welcome. But tell me, what does a staple mean to you?
So I did another documentary with Danielle Luna, and I had the pleasure of meeting her. She was the first Black model on the cover of British Vogue.
Mm-hmm.
And Black models then would go to Europe
Mm-hmm.
for work, like artists and musicians and actors would go to Europe
Mm-hmm.
for work. And she had a short life, but she was a huge star. So I don't think it has a lot to do with how long you stay, although, memories are short, so it's always best to stick around. But I think that it's important that we tell our stories, and that's what's so important about this docuseries, is that we get a chance to tell our story.
Absolutely.
And that's where you can go back and talk about a Danielle Luna. Most people don't know who she is. And so for me, I think that's the most important, that we get to tell our stories.
Yes, I love that so much. You kind of also segued to my second question about the complexities of Black women and how that's captured through this docuseries. I love how they include different types of women through entertainment, through sports, businesswomen as well. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you are a great example of just a Black woman in business, in fashion, who's just so complex, a mom,
Yes.
now a grandmother.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about just the complexities as us as Black women and being businesswomen, being on that side that the TV doesn't see.
Exactly. So, and that's what's so great about the docuseries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to see yourself in order to understand who you are,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to see someone
Mm-hmm.
like you. Because if you grow up and you never see yourself, you really don't know what your potential is. But when you have someone out there saying, "Oh, you could do this. You could be a model. You could be on the cover of Vogue and Glamour and Essence magazine." And it's that message of being seen as a Black woman that is powerful. That is why we need to be chairman of large multi-zillion-dollar companies. That is why we have to open every door, sit at every table, and be seen. And that is, I think, where the momentum comes, and where you pass that message on to the next generation.
We receive it. We receive it. Trust me, we receive it so much. Just to start to wrap, I kind of wanted to ask you about what your driving force is to continue to reinvent yourself. Because just looking back within your history, you've done so many things, whether that's philanthropy, whether that's social justice, of course, being a fashion goddess, excuse me. Tell me a little bit about how you continue to reinvent yourself and why, because you've just done so much. You've hit a certain level of success, but as we watch you, you just keep on reinventing yourselves, and it's inspiring. Can you tell us how we can do that?
I'm a curious person.
Okay.
I remember when I took a little aha moment, Oprah moment, to learn golf, and I really became hooked in golf, and it was like, that's how I get with anything that I do.
Okay.
Laser focused on it.
Competitive.
And I love the competitive, because I was a competitive swimmer. So.
Yes.
But I think that I love life, and I have a certain kind of curiosity about things, and I move, I'm like Susan Taylor, and I move with the spirit, and I do things intuitively.
Okay.
And if it comes to me and it excites me, then I'll do it. And
So it's more of a just curiosity of life and just...
And being open to all the possibilities. A woman came to me, I don't remember when I started, in the 90s, about this fledgling wig company. And they wanted, they were trying to get someone to, represent it, and, like a licensing deal. But they were like almost getting ready to go bankrupt. I said, I don't know. I wouldn't wear any wigs and hair extensions. I mean, it was like all my hair. And my agent said, no, you can't do that. You don't wear wigs in this. It's not going to be good for your image. And I said, I just got a feeling. Became the #4 wig and hair extension company in the world. Beverly Johnson wigs and hair extension. And that's before people were wearing wigs and before people were wearing hair extensions. I just felt something. And we went from like a $500,000 a year company to $120 million a year company. It was just exploded.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Exploded because I felt something about it.
Yes.
And so I just think that people ought to believe in themselves.
Yes.
And believe, who's, if they're talking to you in the right ear and on the right shoulder, and just follow your instincts.
Yes, and that's really such an attest to you, not only as a fashion icon, but as a businesswoman, having that early on set feeling, that gut feeling, like this is something I need to attach myself to. So amazing. My last question would be, what are you most excited for women of different generations to take from this docuseries? Because I feel like it speaks to so many different kinds of women, not just Black women, generations of women. This is something that I can watch with my little cousins, my mom, my grandmother. I think it resonates throughout generations. What are you most excited for audiences to take away?
I think the takeaway is never give up. And if you're not moving forward, if you're standing still, you're not moving forward. And you see that progression over the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and how things just kept opening up. A couple of steps backwards now and then, but how things just keep opening up for you. I think it's that forward movement that people will understand, and also to be courageous and not be afraid. Your best lessons are in your failures. Your best lessons are in your failures. I told my little grandson who was crying because they lost, I said, you know what? You're not going to believe this, but you're going to learn more from this loss than you would ever learn from a win.
And that is such a gem right there. Miss Beverly Johnson, thank you so much for your time today. Guys, I hope you are taking notes. This is an icon sitting beside me. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes.
I can't wait to see you shine in this documentary. And I really think that it's going to touch a lot of people, and it's going to do, what you guys set out for it to do. So thank you again. Guys, this is another episode of Inside the Studio with Black Enterprise. I'm Sidnee Michelle. Thank you guys so much.